What I'd like to show you quickly is how you can host a web page on your Google Drive account. In order to do this, you will need to have a Google account. You can create a Google account by going to accounts.google.com/sign up. And you'll need to fill out this information. Once you sign up for a Google account, this will give you access to Google Drive, which is what we're going to be using for this demonstration, and you will also have access to a Gmail account and other functionality that is offered by Google. If you already have a Gmail account, then you can use your existing Gmail account and access your Google Drive account from there. I already have a Gmail account, and if you do already have that, you're going to go to drive.google.com. And once you get there, you'll get to a page that looks something like this. This is my Google Drive homepage. The easiest way to create a hosted website is to upload the website using a little Google script that is going to take care of all the hard work for you. I recommend this method because if you don't do it this way, your website is not going to display correctly. So please follow these directions as I'm specifying them. The first step that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to place all of the elements that you're going to want to have for your web page or website in its own folder directory. Here I have a very simple web page that I made that simply has an index.html page and an images folder. The CSS that I've created for this page is embedded onto the page because this is just a one-page website. You could do the same sort of steps with a whole website that had scripts and external CSS files and other types of media as well, but I'm just going to demonstrate it on a simple page. If I open this page in the browser, you'll see that the page is very simple. It just has some CSS that styles the page, it has content on the page, and it has an image. I'm going to just use this as an example for this particular exercise. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to create a zipped folder with the contents of your web page or website. On a Macintosh, you can easily do this by right-clicking and just clicking Compress Google Drive Website. On a PC, you're going to have to create a zipped file by right-clicking and selecting Compression. Once I have my zip file, I'm going to go to the Google App page, and I'll provide a link to you in the Lesson 1 directory. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to follow the instructions here. So it says create a zipped file containing your HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and image files. Make sure it has an index.html file. That will become the home page of our website. We're going to upload the files using the form below, and the website will be published instantly through Google Drive. If you don't have a zip file ready, please use this sample file. So they give you a sample file. You're going to be using your own file. By clicking Choose File, it will allow me to navigate through my computer so that I can get to the zipped file. Here's the zipped file that we just created. I'm going to select Open, and now I'm going to click Upload File. You'll need to wait until the file is done uploading. Depending on the size of your site, this may take a couple minutes. Once the website has been uploaded, you're going to reach this congratulations page, which lets you know that the website is now live on Google Drive. By far the easiest way to get the URL is simply to click this Open Website button. Once you click this Open Website button, you will be rerouted to the URL, which is not a pretty URL, where your web page actually exists. This is going to be, as I mentioned, the easiest way for you to get this URL. So you want to select this URL, paste it somewhere else, or make a notation of it so that you can then direct people to this URL. If you want to convert this into a shorter, more kind of friendly URL, you can use tinyurl.com, and all you do is you just paste in the long, ugly URL and you click Make Tiny URL, and it will then convert your URL into something a little bit more manageable. So if I now select this shorter URL right here and paste it into my browser, you can see that it redirects me to my web page. So that's going to be a way that you can share this with a shorter, more manageable URL. Now let's just say that you somehow misplace that URL or don't make a notation of it. It is possible to access your web page but it's going to take a little bit more work. You'll log into your Google Drive. You're going to go to the directory that contains your web page, and you'll want to right click, and you're going to want to go to Get Link. And from here I'm going to click Sharing Settings. This is going to display the long convoluted URL. This URL though happens to just be the URL that gets you to the Google Drive directory. So if I was to open this in a browser window and paste in that URL, you're going to find that it just takes me so that I have folder access, but it will not render the web page correctly. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get the ID that is part of this URL. So if you look at the URL, it starts off with https drive.google.com/folder view, and then it says ID right here, and then it has this number, and at some point the number is going to have an ampersand. You need the value between the equal sign and the ampersand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually click Advanced, because this is going to give me access to just copy this part that I want to select. So I'll select this part of the URL. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a new browser window, and I'm going to type googledrive.com/host, and then I'll put / and then I'll paste in that numeric value. Now when I click Enter, it's going to take me to a page that says Google Drive website. I'll actually need to click this link on the page, and this will direct me to the web page. So it is a little bit longer and convoluted to get to the web page, but it is possible. As I mentioned, the easiest way for you to get the URL is just to click Open Website and make a notation of that URL right away. Needless to say, this is a great, free, and fairly easy way that you can host a website or web page using Google Drive. Obviously, there are other ways to host a website. You would need to actually get dedicated hosting and FTP your site up, but that is something that we'll cover in a future lesson.